Welcome back. The front pages are here, and most definitely will be infusing a little bit of the drawing board to find out what's really going on, especially looking at the federal government's priorities. But then again, Binga, the papers.
Yes, we have Uhade Ahimie here. He needs no introduction. Fantastic analyst from Nairametrics, and is here to help us dissect and analyze the newspaper front pages. Let's go straight to the leadership newspaper. That's our first paper we'll be looking at this morning. The headline says, "Patients stranded as nurses, midwives strike hits hospitals nationwide." Yet another industrial action, this time from the nurses. Let's not forget that the Nigerian Medical Association is in day 5 of its 21-day warning strike. Also on the front page of the leadership papers, only Tinubu can end Zamfara insecurity, not Governor Lawal, says Shinkafi. And IPP demands laws to guarantee democratic dividends. And also on the front page of the leadership paper, LCCI others slam NNPC's no-sale decision on Port Harcourt refinery. I think we should start with that. The NNPC is saying they're not going to sell. Meanwhile, we've been pumping money into that basket. It's like pouring water into a basket. It's just leaking. And we're yet to see the Port Harcourt refinery function. So do you agree with the MD of NNPC on this no-sale policy? And what's your take on this story?
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here again today. So first, he didn't say no sale completely. He said it's still something that they can discuss. It's on the table. However, for now, they need to be sure that they can work out all the things that they're working on. He also mentioned the fact that he doesn't think that they should have actually started the process of refining at the point at which they started, while those maintenance were still going on. But in my own opinion,
They wanted to prove a point. Yeah.
I don't know about proving a point, but in my own opinion, I think two things. One, if you're going to sell, which is what I believe it should be, sell it to people who believe that they can run a business of refining and ensure that the refining process of crude is done, and treat it like a business. Or secondly, if the GMD is now saying no sale by the NNPC, then NNPC must run the refineries like a business. It generates its revenue, it pays for its costs, whether they have exclusive rights to 450,000 barrels, because I remember one time we had analyzed the fact that if you take 450,000 barrels at a cost and you're not paying back, then one day you're just going to find out that there's no money from the people who are producing and giving it to you. So if that's the way he sees it and says, oh, let's run it as a true business and run those refineries and get out the 16 or 17 byproducts from crude, which will go into the economy, and we start to see it. So you might start to see petrochemical industries come back into Nigeria. Like I always say, growing up in Nigeria, I remember a lot of industries, shampoos, relaxers, they were all operating in Nigeria. And one of the reasons for that was because it was cheaper, because you could get those byproducts from crude, from the petrochemical, what's it called, in LMA. And it was being sold, Kessinshin, Satin, or just name them. Some of them, I'm sure a number of people don't even know them. But that's the fact.
All of you used to use Kessinshin in university.
They have not bought
in law school.
No, that's not what, that's not what the one is talking about.
Anyway, anyway, so at the end of the day, if that's the way he sees it should be run, like a business that's going to generate its revenue, that's going to pay for its costs, and then the profits from that will now be paid, if you want to pay it all, as dividends to the federal government, who own the 100% of the refineries. Yes, it makes sense. But if it's just going to be another sinking government's money, taxpayers' money into those refineries and just not getting anything out of it, then I think it should be sold, which, as it is now, in my own opinion, I think it should be sold.
Okay, let's take another story from the front page of the leadership newspaper. Patients stranded as nurses, midwives strikes hit hospitals nationwide. Now, bear in mind that this organization is called National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, NANNM, and they began a 7-day warning strike right after they've just concluded a 15-day ultimatum issued by NANNM to the federal government. They have disrupted healthcare services across Nigeria. So if you visit several federal medical centers, you will see that they are on strike. It's really caused some sort of dysregulation in the hospitals.
Yeah, I mean, you know the importance of nurses.
Exactly. My auntie went to one of the hospitals, the Lagos State, what's that one at Ikeja?
Teaching hospital, LASUT, Lagos State University
Is that what
Teaching
it's called? The
Hospital.
one at Ikeja on that bridge?
LASUT, yes.
She went there and she couldn't see a doctor because
The
of
Lagos
strike.
State doctors are on strike.
They are on strike.
True.
So doctors are on strike, nurses and midwives are on strike, and it just feels like we hear this rinse, repeat, day in, year in, week out. Do we really, like, is there really like an end in sight to these incessant strikes we're seeing in the healthcare sector? Bear in mind, people are still, women are pregnant, women are going to try to give birth. If nurses and midwives are on strike, the impact of this on healthcare.
Private schools and private hospitals are very expensive.
Exactly, not everybody can afford them. Not everybody has insurance.
Where do I start from?
Honestly, it's a valid.
Yeah, it is a valid question, and we continue to say in Nigeria that we're not even providing primary health care, which for a lot of primary health care you need nurses. You need more nurses than doctors, in my own opinion. Why? Because they manage the hospitals, they manage the inpatients, they manage the outpatients who come in to register, to check your what's it called? What do you call
Your
those
pulse,
things? Your pulse, your blood pressure, and a number of those
vitals.
Yes. So if they are on strike and nobody is doing that, then what it then means is that hospitals are completely grounded. Who is going to give you an injection?
Yeah, people were returned home yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So who's going to give you an injection if a doctor sees you?
Imagine the number of people that would die in this
Well,
period.
maybe they won't die, but
They could die.
They won't die. That's why I said maybe they won't die. You see, I didn't say they won't die. I said maybe.
Hopefully. It's not
they
our
will.
prayer that they do.
However,
Hope is not a strategy.
I agree
Look
with you.
at, can I report some of them? Because I'm seeing in the papers here, they've gone to do certain interviews. Someone says, I've been here for almost 2 hours to see a doctor. I have to leave and go to an open shop to get some drugs. So there's self-medication. You don't even know what you're feeling, what is causing the sickness, and now you're going to treat yourself. Another one says that he was feeling feverish and then he went to the hospital.
The truth of it is that we can go on and on and on and on, but the fact remains that nurses are on strike. There are demands that have been made, like many other associations in Nigeria have made those demands. And what is the government doing in terms of all that? We continue to say we are not providing healthcare, we are not providing education, we are not providing security. What are we doing? You know, the report that came out a couple of days ago that everybody's been talking about, we're building government houses, we're building communication places. The Minister for Federal Capital Territory spent 39 billion renovating where you don't use every day. Meanwhile, hospitals are not being renovated, nurses are demanding for better conditions of service, doctors are demanding for better conditions of service, and all this, rather, some governors will build new government houses that they will stay for 6 months before they finish their term. And then the next one comes in and says, oh, we need to renovate a number of it. So we need to, first and foremost, let's focus on what are the main priorities for us?
I like the word. You just cued me in there.
Infrastructure development.
Being, I remember from yesterday, I've been highlighting priorities.
Priorities.
And that's what we want to look at in the course of this conversation.
Yes.
Priorities.
What are the priorities?
What are the priorities?
Priorities for me should be security in terms of providing the right architecture and equipment for security. Second, education, meaning that better school opportunities, better teaching,
better classrooms.
Let's even forget the classroom.
Yes.
Let's have more teachers. Believe me.
No, but there are no classrooms.
Now, everybody talks about Arrows free education. Some of them were done under trees. People talk about Jacondi's.
But this is 2025. This is 2025.
Let me finish. No, let me finish. People talk about Jacondi's free education. They say it was a poultry shed. Some people in these governments went to those poultry sheds. I know someone particular. My mother taught in those poultry sheds. and some of them have become big Nigerians. Let's talk about healthcare. Health centers all over Lagos, Federal. What has happened to them? We don't fund them. We don't provide the things that are required. So how do you even do primary health care? So what are our priorities? Security, lives and properties. One, education. Because when people start to know, they know how to look after themselves, and then it leads into health care. So security, education, health care. For me,
You know what? Sorry, let me just
not petrol in petrol
let
stations.
me just go to the drawing board. I think we need to break it down a little more to understand what the deal really is. If we have 3 priorities that we have to take, especially because since yesterday we've been talking about this priority issue, and I'm happy it's in the newspapers. Before we go to our next story, what is your top 3 priority?
Education.
But they've not paid.
No, don't influence his decision.
And I will explain. You give me 30 seconds to explain.
Okay, fine.
Education, health, and then security. And let me name the 3 for you. Where you have good education, people know what to do to look after themselves.
Okay.
People know that you don't self-medicate, and then it translates into better healthcare understanding when you should go to hospitals. And then when you have all those things, educated people who are well, then you can now start to talk about securitizing your communities. Do you understand?
Right.
Your communities. So these are the 3 things that link it for me. If you don't know what you don't know, you can't deal with. And that's how I will just do that. I will prioritize that. What you don't know, I can't deal with.
Fantastic.
Let me go to Gbenga before I go to Olive. Gbenga, top 3 priorities.
Number 1, security. My reason is if you're not alive, how can you access health and education?
Okay.
So you need to stay alive first.
Security.
Number 2, economy.
No, economy is broad, Gbenga.
Inflation. So inflation
Is it inflation?
and
The
consumer
overall health of the economy,
Yes.
a viable, productive economy.
So yes, I think economy.
Economy is fine. He's right.
Okay. So, economy takes care of, great minds think alike. We're both Leos.
I
know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I know.
So economy takes care of security in a sense.
Yes.
Okay.
When people are working, when you have a productive population that are hardworking and going about their daily duties, nobody will be on the street and looking to steal generators.
So some people will still be there, but it will not be as much as
I mean, if you steal a side mirror in the United Kingdom, for example, will you find a buyer? You can't, because it doesn't even, you can't begin to think at that pedestrian level. We need to move beyond Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We need to be aspirational. We need to move beyond. I mean, how can we
Also planning to go on strike.
Teachers first.
Teachers first.
welfare?
Teachers' welfare. Classes where students could learn. And what happened to the 1 meal per day plan? The students are not
That was
getting
under
it.
Buhari's government.
It was to be restarted under this administration as well. It was mentioned that it will be started.
They're working out the modalities.
They still don't get it.
And we're taking loans to do
And then
palliative.
security. Under security, the police officers just did what? They just protested that they've not been paid their gratuities and pensions. And the salary is still poor. So basically, I think we've highlighted the top 3. This is the database. The question now is, what is the presidency looking at? Are they looking
And
at
the
same
presidency's
direction?
priority, you mentioned infrastructure.
Their priority, infrastructure, which I don't know if you agree.
And number 2, priorities, 2027 and giveaway.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. In as much as they would deny this, it's starting to look
But
popular.
from last year, we've all agreed that by
Yeah,
the end of this
we've
year,
had
everybody's
some of the
looking at
guests.
But
we've
in
had some of the guests come
fairness
on.
to them, in fairness to the government, we are the ones that are driving this 2027 conversation.
That's
the government
not true.
didn't come out to say
Government is
this
not,
is policy
it's not
on
government's
2027.
responsibility to drive 2027.
We can
it's the
ignore the
political
noise.
class.
So what's the top 3?
We can
Finally,
ignore the
before,
noise.
before I sit down, we move.
2027 election.
Infrastructure, 2027. What else?
those are the two things I see.
Why is it so hard for us?
It's
to
hard, though. It's
Can
hard.
you see?
It's very hard.
What the government is
Reforms, economic reforms.
Okay, so let's say
Economic reforms.
let's say
Okay.
economy.
Floating of the naira, removal
economy.
of
So
fuel
let's just leave it as
subsidy.
economy. No, let's leave it as economy.
Okay, economy.
And our GDP has grown by whooping 3.1%.
So we have economy there.
And inflation has gone down to 22%.
So, top three. Are we going to substitute this top three for us? I don't know, but this is what we have.
No, but like I said earlier, that first one, you can relate it to all of it.
Yeah, infrastructure cuts across all of it. Yes.
And except you are looking at, like, if you are looking at human capital as not infrastructure.
I'm not looking at that as infrastructure.
But it is.
The infrastructure,
Huge
of the hospital, of the school, the security, architecture.
No. Let me tell you one thing. What are assets? Infrastructure are assets that build things.
We're not arguing.
I'm not arguing with you. And so I'm just telling you that when you look at Nigeria, one of Nigeria's biggest infrastructure is the human.
Of course, the largest population in Africa.
So, like you said, if you are not paying doctors, and not paying nurses, and not paying teachers, in the last 1 year, we know how many teachers and doctors and nurses have left Nigeria in the last 2 years, to the UK alone.
And there are many more are still planning to go on to the UK. Just put a new
Vacancy.
Sorry?
Vacancy.
No, no more. They just stopped it.
But there's another country that will open up.
That's
soon.
another
The
thing.
UK is not the only
people
country.
now vote also.
Exactly,
Anyway.
man.
But that's all. I just wanted us to look at this. So we've highlighted that healthcare, security, economy is our priority. Hopefully the government is also looking at what is priority and not the other way around. Maybe the nurses and doctors will not go on strike if they are paid. The policemen will not come on the streets and ask for their money.
Policemen can't go on strike.
The policemen can't go on strike, but they won't come on the streets. Those who
can
just
protest, but
retired,
they can't go on strike.
They won't come on the streets.
I don't know what allowed them to protest. But let's go on.
That's all. That's all I'm just taking a look at. Maybe we'll look at another paper at this point.
All right,
On a
let's,
personal note, what's your priority after the show?
My priority.
Yeah.
We should ask our audience.
exactly, after the show,
What's your priority? Maybe we should ask the audience what their priorities
Tweet
are.
at us. Yes.
What their priorities are. What
three.
you think should be priority for this administration. Because we also feel that people are not really talking about what priorities should be, especially for the government. Nobody's saying anything. But if the government finds out that, oh, this is what people are really talking about, this is what they really need, they may be able to say, okay, no, let's shift our attention for the next 2 years and solve it.
all right, let's come to the next paper. We have another paper. Let's look at the Punch newspaper. And on the front page of the Punch, federal government eyes 796 billion naira annually from 5% petrol surcharge. Customers decry new fuel tax after subsidy removal as law commences January 2026. Port Harcourt refinery not for sale, NNPC says. Varsity students to face drug test, says Education Minister.
I like that.
I think everybody in the country should.
I like it. Everybody.
Yes.
From top to
I'm sure you're
bottom.
wondering why I'm laughing. Why I'm laughing so much. And I'm please, audience, I'm so sorry about
I
that.
agree. Why are you laughing though? It's a very serious issue.
And I agree that it's a very serious issue. But you know, my first question is this. You say university students should undergo drug tests. That's from the Minister of Education.
Yeah.
What are the implications to the Ministry of Health? Has anybody thought about that? Because it's not the
doctors.
Now you can see all those linkages.
Well, maybe it's not going to be anything that has to be.
I mean,
done
you don't
by
need
serious
doctors,
medical
because you
personnel.
need
have to
test
do a
kits and
breathalyzer, first of all, to check your alcohol, your breath. Then they'll
So
just
where
do-
is the education? Okay, so you know how to use a breathalyzer.
So they need
No,
education.
Wait now. You
No,
know
that
how to
one
use.
is usually the police, although we don't have that. Like if you're driving.
Okay, they're not even
driving-
testing for alcohol consumption.
No,
It's drugs.
I'm just saying, for example, I
yes.
think all of them, I don't know, Sha, maybe it's not, you're right.
You
so
don't-
it's drugs, they'll just check if.
Okay, so where's
No, the
the
people that check
linkage?
for drugs, for example.
It's blood now. You
is,
need blood sample.
So who's going to take
well,
it? The
there's
nurses?
There's that.
Then
But at the airport.
those technology people that are those who went on strike.
No,
You went
the
at
lab
the
scientists are not on strike.
They went on strike.
But they're not
Okay,
currently
but
on
let's
strike.
stop looking at the obstacles. Let's look at the reasoning behind it, because the quality of people that they find in universities, the high incidence of cultism and all of that. So they want to make sure that people that are admitted into the university are upstanding and are proper mental capability to be able to function properly in the Ivory institution. I don't think it has to do with the Ministry of Health or anything. It's just they don't want
Yeah, I
a
understand.
certain type of people in universities, and
Who
that
are-
might be the basis
so
for the
who determines a
test.
certain kind of people? Because every institution has criteria for admissions. Let's stop just
So
throwing
you
things
can
up
score
and down.
350 in JAM, but you fail your drug test.
Go back home.
No admission.
So I need to also ask this question. And Benga, please, maybe you can help me out. I scored 350 in JAM. So which late now? I didn't
It's
score 350 in
hypothetical.
JAM.
Okay.
Which kind of drug should I not, you know, I don't know. the word.
Narcotics.
Okay. So how about those who have, what's it called? What do you call them? Prescription drugs, addictions.
Medically prescribed.
Yes.
Yes.
There are always
They are called
exceptions.
those-
There are
it's not
exceptions
opioids.
to rules. There are exceptions to rules.
So you see, when you make broad statements, are you with me? And that's the question I'm trying to ask. Have you determined the number of all these things? It's not
universities
now.
do it all.
Yeah, and because that's why I said but what did I say now?
Even some offices.
There are universities have guidelines for you to be in universities. Some private universities do them because it's part of their guidelines. It's part of the things that you read for you to enter this university, and you sign up to it once you agree and accept that acceptance form.
So I
So
think
there are
I
so
get
many
what
things
you mean.
that you always need to put together, in my own opinion.
I get what you mean, but I see the spirit of what they're trying to do. Because there have been arguments about how in a number of private universities, generally in universities, how a number of these students abuse drugs. It's why they set up, NDLA sets up shop in some of these universities.
And I agree. And I agree with that. And like I said, these are things that you have, there are systematic things that you have to put in place. That's why some private universities, some private universities didn't just wake up and started testing for drugs. Some things came about, or they just decided that, for us to make our institution, what's it called, free of violence or extremism, we need to do a few things. And then you put those policies in place and put them properly and ensure that at the end of the day, you know how to administer them. Because it involves healthcare service.
Anyway,
Anyway,
let's
let's
look at
go.
another story very quickly. Let's see. Do we have another paper to look into? Yes.
All right, we have
Yes,
the Daily
Daily Trust. Bandits on renewed rampage in Katsina. Remember that just yesterday
Mr.
and
Daniel
just 2
Bwala.
days ago, some of the presidential, people from the presidency, were saying that insecurity has died down. Everything is working fine. But look, bandits on renewed rampage in Katsina. Villages evicted, forced into peace deals.
This is terrible.
Let's just take that story. Let's take that story.
Can we deal with these insecurity issues? Because these are, we are facing asymmetrical warfare. It's guerrilla warfare. They're not going against the standing army. So there would always be this hit and run cases and hitting of soft targets. And then we term it as general insecurity. Can this be nipped in the bud?
Yes, you can. So my thinking is this. People will rebel against what they feel they don't like. But it's not everybody that wants to rebel. There is many times you hear that one person can commit a fraud. So in my own opinion also, I don't think one person can really commit a crime. There are insiders who provide some form of information. But we've shown our priorities here today, and we're looking at all of them, and it just comes back or piggybacks back to all those things. People don't even know what is happening, which comes from that educational part. Who do you report to? Going to report, or what are the mechanisms for reporting? People who can't feed, do you get? and these people provide you some form of cover. Yes, they take taxes from you, but sometimes come back and give you tell you that, okay, because you pay taxes, we will guide you so that you can go to your farms or do your businesses and so on. Healthcare, you don't have primary health care, no nurses are on strike. Even when you have a nurse, they don't have the things that they used to require. So a number of things. Community relationships have gone, they no longer exist in Nigeria, in my own opinion. And so how do you nip all this insecurity in the bud? In those days when you are growing up and then you see a truant on your street, everybody continues to talk about it until maybe one day something happens, and then when the police comes to arrest the person, they say, well, we've been telling you, we've been reporting to you, and nobody does anything. And this is what has happened. Everybody just says, oh, me, myself, and I. And until we go back to that community relations.
Which is police, you support state policing, right?
But community security and relations doesn't
all right,
mean
let's at least take one call before we wrap up. We have Osas calling from Port Harcourt. Good morning, Osas. Please go ahead with your comment.
Good morning, Oliver Modi.
Good morning.
Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Osas.
You are pointing your hand because you want to end my call again. Please, let me just quickly drop this. I want to respond to those federal government appointees that went to Kaduna, including the Ghana state government. Tinubu has done well.
The audio is a bit low. We don't know if it's from your end or from our sound end, but can you please project? We can barely hear you.
Can you hear me? Are you hearing me?
Yes, but you sound very faint.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, please go ahead. We'll try to pick.
Me?
Yes,
Okay.
go ahead.
So let me go ahead. Obasanjo made a statement that the northern governors have received more money. Have received more money than from President Tinubu, more than every other president. And you see the federal government official also saying, oh, President Tinubu has appointed more officials. But that is not what the people want to hear. Is it by appointment? They are not telling us the details. If the governor say you have received more money, the thing is, what have you done with the money? Show to us that, okay, because of the money you received from the federal government, you've been able to do this, you've been able to do that. Then the federal government appointee, because you've been appointed as so, the security like the NSA saying, oh, he's one of the appointees. What happened to your water? Being an appointee of the federal government, have you been able to stop insecurity in the north? It's not about saying this is what the federal government has appointed, this has given you more money. The result is what we want. When you are campaigning for him, give us the result. But because you were able to, the government has appointed you as this as agriculture minister, then we have more food. The farmers are now secure in Benue, they are now secure in place too. That is what we want to hear. It's really that these people don't even reason before they come out to talk. Why are you telling us that the government has given you more money, but you don't even have proof to show the people? It's about the people. Government is about the people. It's not about appointment. Okay, let Tinubu go ahead and appoint everybody then. Let everybody be in the federal government. Then we cannot talk everybody is okay. It's not about appointing you. What have you done? That is what we want to know. It's not about Tinubu has done this, he has not cheated enough, he has appointed more. The result, the people should be able to tell us, you should be able to show to the people, this is the result. Okay, appointing you is the result. I don't understand. Then which country are we? If appointing you is the result for you to tell us that Tinubu is doing well, is that a country? So that's my point, my dear brothers and sisters.
Thank you, Osas.
Thank you so much for that.
Important point made by Osas. I absolutely agree with him. 100%.
What's the end product? What have you done?
Of the appointment.
It's results now.
Result.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, we have to get out of the studio. We have less than a minute. But, I mean, any final thoughts, any closing thoughts on any of the stories that we've picked on?
Insecurity.
It's something that we need to deal with.
We just need to deal with it. And insecurity is not, like I always say, it's not just about the security architecture or the government. It's about all of us Nigerians speaking to insecurity. You see things that are not seemingly looking right, then let's say it. But also the security architecture and apparatus should also ensure that they are able to provide us an easy way or an easier way for us to get information across to them. So I
Absolutely.
think
Thank you so
And kudos
much.
to the Daily Trust for putting that as a big story.
They
because
always
it feels
do that.
like
They
whenever there are
always do that.
incidences of insecurity, we now put them in the corner because we're sort of becoming desensitized to that. This does it for us today. We'll be back again next month. Thank you for joining us
okay.
today on Breakfast Central.
Yeah, next
Tomorrow
month.
is the 1st of August. See you next month and have a wonderful rest of your July.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.